Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you and to have the opportunity to present a part of my work online in this very interesting contribution, discussion on reimagining sustainability to materials and design. Thank you also for the other speaker because the intervention were very, very interesting for me as I work with this kind of material in my daily life. So it was very, very, very interesting. So before diving into the specific of my presentation, allow me to briefly introduce myself. I'm Erminia. I am assistant professor at the design department of Politecnico di Milano, where I work inside the Fashion and Process Research Lab on a very specific aspect of the fashion transition, that is how design-driven principle and practice can support the circular transformation of the fashion industry. Today, my presentation will explore a question that has been crucial to my research part of my research work over the past year. How can transformative design contribute to promoting circularity within the fashion industry, reducing environmental impact, and meeting the needs of value-conscious consumers? This question encapsulates key concepts such as sustainability, circular economy, and product adaptability, with an emphasis on how design innovation can drive real change. Let me begin by addressing the context we find ourselves in. Industries, including fashion, are shaped by two key forces in this moment. From one side, we have emerging regulatory framework, and on the other side, we have a growing consumer demand for sustainable products. Several initiatives from United Nations, European Commission, the COP28, for example, highlighted how there are limits in the current climate policies and emphasize the need to peak emission by 2025 with a significant reduction between 2030 and 2035 to avoid our limits, that it's 1.5 Celsius degree. And also the IPCC special report offer us as professional guidelines on emission trajectories that can be applied that are necessary to combat climate change while supporting a sustainable development. At the same time, increasing consumer awareness that is driven by the climate crisis and also events like COVID-19 is happening and has led to a major shift in the expectation of consumers. McKinsey published after the COVID-19 different studies that demonstrate how 90% of consumers in the last 3 years is moving toward more sustainable consumption choices. This shift in transforming industries like fashion as new cultural scenarios emerge in the last years and is paving the way for socio-cultural changes in how products are designed, produced, and consumed. And in this context, of course, fashion has a unique position to lead this shift, shaping a more responsible future, because basically fashion as a domain of design plays indeed a crucial role in shaping contemporary culture by balancing from one side the dynamics between individuals and society, and on the other side it allows people to position themselves into time and place, connecting their social relation to a broader world. However, the environmental impact of the fashion industry is particularly severe, making it one of the top global polluters. The industry is responsible for about 4% of global carbon emission and 20% of the world wastewater. Each year, our industry consumes 93 billion metric tons of clean water and is up for almost 35% of the microplastic in the ocean. Also, we heavily depend on fossil fuel-based plastics that results in almost 53 million metric tons of clothing waste that went every year in the landfill because their nature does not allow them to be reinserted in any way into the productive cycles. According to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, these issues are mainly related to the fact that our industries is based on an outdated linear model that is rooted into the first industrial revolution, which followed a model that is a take make dispose model that leads to significant resource depletion and waste, underscoring a need for a transition toward a circular system to enhance resource management and reduce waste. Addressing the presented issues requires a reevaluation of production system, of course, but also a transformative change in organizational structure, products, and processes. And in this context, fashion design for sustainability is emerging as a key solution, focusing on the use of ecosystemic practices, ethical dimension, and socio-cultural aspect, as well as the principle of circular economy. Recent research from European Commission and Ellen MacArthur Foundation suggested strategies such as adopting renewable sources, developing biodegradable alternatives, designing durable products, or implementing extended producer responsibilities as an option that we can exploit to align with new legislation like the new European Commission initiative in terms of Green Deal and new textile strategies. These initiatives could support the industry in reducing its environmental impact by design choices and design decisions. Accordingly, this study specifically explores how design plays a crucial role in supporting sustainable development principles and circularity by envisioning a market where products enhance rather than replace existing items. Transformative design plays a crucial role in advancing the circular economy and sustainable practices by leveraging designer expertise and prioritizing craftsmanship and durability. By focusing on quality and versatility, this approach supports consumers also to value long-lasting garments that can adapt to changing needs. As a result, transformative clothing not only reduces waste, but also fosters a more responsible manufacturing industry. By reimagining how clothing is designed and consumed, we can pave the way for a more sustainable future for the fashion industries. Specifically, this paper presents findings on the potential of transformative clothing to enhance sustainability within the fashion industry, to emphasize how such kind of practices can support the development of circular economy and promote sustainable design-driven solutions and strategies. The research data is drawn from the Fashion in Process Research Lab Knowledge Reservoir and includes different projects, European, but specifically 2 projects of the National Recovery and Resilience Italian Plan, along with my doctoral research. Also, the framework established in this paper builds upon one of my previous research that advocates for the decoupling of sustainable innovation from traditional resources exploitation. About the National Recovery and Resilience Plan, I am part of 2 specific projects that are called EcoDeck and Waste. EcoDeck work on how designers with their very specific and transversal perspective can support manufacturing industry in Italy in the transition by building specific capacity building strategies to support companies in their circular transition, while Waste focus on a partnership with an Italian group that is called AF. To let you understand, is the group that own Alberta Ferretti and Moschino, on working on their pre-consumer waste, understanding how we can, in an effective way, put again dead stock, waste, leftover inside the very same productive cycle. The research was conducted methodologically in 3 different phases. The main aim was to build iterative knowledge. So I started with a desk research to mapping the correct best practice and identify the best practice. A second phase of qualitative analysis, and then the final phase involved data processing, where all the collected information were meticulously analyzed. I met 20 companies in 6 nations. They belong to different sectors of the fashion industry. And at the end, I selected 6 international case studies as the main representatives of the category of my model. The final processing action allowed me to outline actionable direction for companies seeking to implement circularity through innovative and transformative practices. Together, these three methodological phases formed a comprehensive framework for understanding and advancing the design for the fashion sector. This is the final model. And as you can see, I identified three key dimensions of sustainability to transformative design-driven practices. Firstly, the first one approach that is called dynamic design focuses on reducing overproduction by reimagining design partner and practices through dynamic transformation. The second dimension is called layered production and explore how designer can enhance product value through innovative technique and processes. And the last dimension that is called responsible consumption is based on strategies that aim at waste reduction, while challenging a traditional retail model and actively engaging consumers. These three strategies share a common objective that is moving towards circularity through the transformative-driven medium, and promoting sustainability, of course, but their implementation varies depending on the specific contextual and practical factors that are part of each dimension. The first dimension, the dynamic design, emphasizes the need to understand how fashion strategies can leverage the unique characteristics of products and their production processes to foster sustainability through transformative design. An example of how designers are working inside this category is provided by Italian designer Flavia La Rocca. She applied a specific approach with her modular garment, which feature interchangeable components, allowing a single item to assume multiple forms. Her design prioritizes versatility and aims to extend the lifespan of the garment. The aim is to create a limited number of pieces that can provide user with an endless wardrobe concept. Similarly to her work is the one of the Canadian brand Erminia that have advanced a modular fashion system that is rooted in defining an integrated system that enables extensive customization and transformation of a garment. This very specific approach focusing on optimizing sample wardrobe pieces, promoting conscious consumption by minimizing both physical and mental clutter. In general, this specific design-driven dimension has product longevity, versatility, and sustainability, offering a flexible alternative to conventional fashion consumption. The second dimension is the one of layered manufacturers and focus on rethinking fashion production and product success, encouraging upgrading rather than replacement. Marfa Stance is an example of how this can be obtained through design-driven strategies. This is a British outwear brand, and their approach is defined by reimagining the traditional production with modular, customizable garment that can be adapted, changed according to the consumer needs. Founded in 2019, and they are based in UK, but they manufacture facility in Italy. The brand work on incorporating detachable hoods, collars, and liners that can be buy in the same moment or in different moments according to how the consumer wants this garment to evolve, and can build a personalized, a customized garment that create from one side enhance physical durability because of the high quality of this material. On the other side, it enhances the emotional durability of the garment, as this customization action allow to create a sort of a link between the consumer and the garment they are creating. Another example on the same ethos is the one provided by Conundrum, that is a German brand. They also are working on interchangeable components with a very specific app that allow the consumer to change according to their taste, to their will, the garment, not only in the same season, but also changing each season through dynamic upgrade the garment that they already possess. The idea is to enhance rather than replace again. The company that operate inside the category aim to integrating upgradable components and emphasizing user interaction to maximize the the circular effect of their design action. The last dimension is the one of responsible consumption. There are brands like, for example, Rayon Vert that are part of this category. This is again an Italian brand that was founded by two friends, Yuri and Andrea, in 2017, and is based on an open manufacture model. This means that the consumer is engaged not only in the designer phase through the definition of a pattern CAD file, but they also are promoting hyperlocalism by providing material and structure for to the consumer to allow them to manufacture their garment as where they prefer. For example, in the Fab Lab of their area, or in the tailor shop that collaborate or they are mapped by the brand in the area where the consumer, where the clients is located. Last example of my research is the one provided by ADIF, that is a Greek design label founded by women that repurpose traditional waste material into clothing and accessories to empower refugees that are trained to be the tailor of this company. They are very famous among the research community because they are one of the main contributors to the open source fashion cookbook that offer instruction to creating clothing in-house at home, but also they are also the brand that launched the jacket that could turn into a tent. That was a very interesting social innovation project that was based on a buy one, give one model that aimed to support homeless communities. Also in this case, there is level of engagement in the production of the consumer, but at the same time stressing of the intangible value that was the social impact and the social impact and the role of the consumer can represent. Coming to the end of my presentation, I want to emphasize that as consumer awareness grows and regulatory frameworks tighten, innovation design has become a critical tool for creating lasting change in the fashion industry. By focusing on the garment longevity from one side, sustainable materials and modern design technique, brand can strengthen their identity while setting new standards for the entire sector. Transformative design, from what emerged, is transcending aesthetics, considering environmental and sociocultural factors to create products that are both durable and responsible. To achieve the ambitious goal of transitioning toward a more responsible and circular system, designers are positioned at the very start of the supply chain, at the very start of the transition, and the collaboration among designer, manufacturers, and consumer is essential within the evolving industrial landscape, but also within the evolving legislative framework that will be the one that will set our standard in the near future. The principle of transformative design provide a valuable lesson, not just for the fashion industry, but for any manufacturing industry. And they can lead the example to the various sectors that struggle with climate change, incorporating design-driven solutions that can pave the way to the transformation. I conclude just saying that from this, transformative design is more than a buzzword. For me, it's a very strategic approach with the potential to drive real long-term progress. By embracing this mindset, the fashion industry can lead an example and chart a path toward genuine environmental stewardship that is designed by will, in which the designer is the main actor of this change, is the real agent of change.